Straight up hippo? More like, straight up dick. Jippo. Straight up hater. Stop. That's not very nice. If you're not very nice, you get fucking banned. What is up, guys? Welcome to another video, and today we're here for a little bit of positivity. As we are waiting for update 1, I've made a few videos talking about things which aren't that good in the game. Contrary to popular belief, I actually do like Need for Speed Heat. I don't hate this game. So today I thought we'd dedicate a video on the things that I think are the best features in Need for Speed Heat. You know, what keeps me coming back even though there's no content. We're going to talk about that in today's video, as well as cover a few kind of current topics like seasonal mode files. Before we go and get into that, I want to go say make sure to subscribe. The Undefeated Racing League will also be taking part on Xbox this Friday on my Twitch at 9 PM. I'm also going to be streaming throughout the week on my Twitch, so go ahead and click the link in the description. We're doing this shit for the community, socializing, you get me? So come inside me. What the fuck? Definitely don't do that. So moving on to the actual video, let's go ahead and talk my favorite features in this game, or things that have been improved from previous games. With the number 1 being the performance upgrades. The shit is wild in this game. I think honestly, out of absolutely everything that Need for Speed Heat's done, you know, whether that's the physics, whether that's the nighttime and the cops, my favorite out of all of those, it's the upgrade system. There's a lot you can do with it, from the mere fact that I've been making performance upgrade tutorials, which again, links will be down in the description for that. I think it just shows the depth in the actual upgrade system here, and not only that, you have the auxiliary parts, and there's so many things in the actual performance upgrade system we've never seen in a Need for Speed game in recent memory. One of the most underrated features in this game, I don't think enough people talk about it and sing its praises. Like, obviously the physics, they're a big point, they're obviously what people are going to talk about, but I honestly think the performance upgrade system is number 1, maybe up there with the cops. The cops are also another obvious one, but I'm not going to mention that in this video, just because there's no reason to mess around with the cops once you reach the level cap. With the performance upgrade system, you know, it doesn't matter if you're at end game, it doesn't matter if you're at the start of the game, it doesn't matter if you've just finished the main quest line, the performance upgrades are always going to affect you. Not only that, but they're, you know, they're diverse. You get the off-road stuff, you've got the drift stuff, then you've got the on-road stuff, then you've got the race stuff. There's so many little changes, things you can change with it to make it suit your build. Is fantastic. I actually want to see more expansion on this. I think I'd honestly love if I had some type of Need for Speed 2015 tuning system in this game. At the moment we have live tuning, which is very similar to Payback, but for anyone that actually played Need for Speed 2015, in that game you could change like the front like sway bars and all that kind of shit. I'm not going to go into it, you know, in dramatic fashion, but essentially it was a little bit more in depth than what we had now. I would love if we had the performance upgrade system as is, and then if we had the tuning on top of that. I am not an extremely hardcore player. Like, I think people have this perception of me that I'm like a gamer, I like gaming. I'm being ironic when I do that. It's not really, like, that's a joke. I play Need for Speed casually, pretty much. I don't play it as a hardcore sweatbag. Don't get me wrong, I play games as a hardcore sweatbag. First person shooters are one that comes to mind, but you know, for racers, other than maybe Forza and Gran Turismo at one stage, and GT Sport before my PlayStation broke, I was getting deep into that. But I don't really like, with Need for Speed, it's not a game where I sit down and I think, whoo, let's game. Another thing which is completely on the opposite scale, and is actually not something which is new to Need for Speed Heat. They've not actually done anything. I think they've actually taken away things from this specific area of the game compared to the previous, but I don't think it's something which gets enough credit in Need for Speed as a whole. The rap editor, one of the best rap editors in the racing scene, period. Now, it's missing things on the community side, you know, things like searches, that, you know, like all that kind of stuff, but I'm talking about the actual core of the rap editor. It's not changed since 2015, since they added the vinyl mirroring, but it's just so easy to use. I don't make raps in any other game other than Need for Speed Heat, and I think that says a lot. I've tried to make them in Forza and all that kind of stuff, but I don't really tend to do it. In Need for Speed, I make them all the time. I have quite a creative side. I don't know if it shows in videos because I make gameplay oriented stuff, but I am honestly quite creative. I mean, it has to be if you're this retarded. It's just so easy for me to go on any of the last 3 Need for Speed games, and I have like these thoughts in my head of what I want the rap to look like, and I can easily convert those thoughts onto the car, if that makes sense. With Forza and like a lot of other games, I find that when I go to actually, you know, put stuff on the car, because the wrap editor is so complex, I struggle to do it. With Need for Speed, it's so simple to the point where I just find it really easy to kind of formulate your thoughts onto a car. Hopefully that's not me getting a little bit too, you know, fancy. And the final thing that I'm going to mention in this video, we are going to talk about update 1 in a minute, so just stay tuned if you are watching the video for that. Yeah, the last thing I want to talk about is the world. Hot take. This is really hot take. I've not planned any of this. This is all off the cuff. I think this world that they've curated for Heat, and I'm not talking about the clipping issues and anything like that, but I'm just talking about the actual world itself. As far as Need for Speed games go, it could be one of the best. Now, when I'm talking about world, I'm not talking about atmosphere, I'm not talking about that kind of stuff. I'm just talking about the roads and the very basics of what makes a world a world. Interesting driving routes. The fact that, like, when you're in the mountains, for example, you come over a crest and then you can just see the whole of the city in the foreground, like that kind of stuff. I think atmosphere is a bit of a separate point, but the world itself, fantastic. I think 2015 did a really good job of the world as well. Like, I don't think world is something which Ghost have struggled with, you know, for ages really. I think they've done a pretty good job with it generally. Payback was an exception just because it was just desert, but you know, overall I even think Rivals had a really good world. I think Rivals as well was a really good, for what the type of game it was, I think it did a really good job. I don't think it's any different with Heat. I think Heat's world's fantastic. I think the routes they've done are fantastic. If you actually play through the off-road story, you'll notice how much of the world is actually off-road. A friend, Richard, did a video on this. I'll link that down in the description as well. He just talked about off-roading in Need for Speed and how he had a different appreciation when you actually go through the off-road story, and you can actually see how much of the world is crafted for that section of the game. You won't realize it, like, unless you actually go ahead and complete that. Honestly, if you haven't already, do it, because it might give you a little bit more appreciation for the things that they've done in the game. Which is another reason why I mention, like, when people think, like, I don't want off-road, it's not just because I don't want off-road, it's all the things attached. The world has to be made with that in mind, and then obviously if you think the physics have to be made with that in mind, think about how much development time and all that kind of stuff that would take up, when realistically they could put that time into race. Like, that's the reason why I have such a thing against off-road. It's not because I don't want it. Like I said, in Forza Horizon, it's actually my favorite thing to do. It affects, like, every little section of the game. Like, the world building has to take that in mind, the physics have to take that in mind, the customization has to take that in mind, and then it all kind of adds up with budget and time, and that's kind of where that comes from. But with all that being said, the off-road routes in this game, they're not bland, they're really fun to drive. When it clicks, when everything clicks and it all works, and the clipping issues don't happen, and the physics click all at the same time, it's really, really fun to use. And I just want to say that, like, I feel like I've been a little bit negative on the channel recently. There is things about this game that are really, really good. I'm not going to sit here and lie about it. Like, there is things I like about this game. Like I said, the performance upgrade system is one of the main reasons I'm actually coming back to this game now. I either go to this game to make wraps, performance upgrades, or Gary, or whatever, high stakes, etc. And with that being said, I'm pretty sure you guys will want to know a little bit about Update 1. And today we have a little bit of, not really news, not really leaks, just a thing. This was found in the game files. This is just a seasonal menu that was left over in the game files. It's nothing as of now, really. We haven't got any more information about this. It was just found on the Reddit. I thought you guys might be interested in it. Does look like we're getting seasons. One thing to note as well with this menu is that you have progression and then play season. That kind of indicates to me that play season is going to be like a separate mode almost. If seasonal progression was just tied into the game, then there surely would be, like, they would kind of handle that a little bit differently. It looks like, from what I've seen so far, that it would be separate to what is already there. That's just what I'm interpreting from this image. Max, the Need for Speed community manager, also did say that they're not going to be giving a roadmap, so that's happening if you're interested. I thought I'd just put that at the end of the video, just in case if anyone would, you know, made it to the end of the video. If you did, write a story in the comments about a banana, so we can confuse everyone else who hasn't got to the end of the video. Pagans! That's been it for me today. If you guys enjoyed, make sure to hit the like, subscribe. Undefeated Racing League on Friday, Xbox this time. Again, if everything goes well, we'll go ahead and do a PlayStation 1 in the foreseeable future. Stay safe and peace.